The starship Nebula Seeker drifted silently through the vast expanse of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Captain Elara Voss stood on the bridge, her piercing blue eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The ship's sensors had detected an anomaly, a small vessel of unknown origin approaching their position. "Status report, Lieutenant Riker," Elara commanded, her voice calm but tinged with anticipation. Lieutenant Jake Riker, a young officer with a quick mind and quicker fingers, tapped rapidly on his console. "The vessel appears to be non-hostile, Captain. It's broadcasting a message on all frequencies. It's an invitation for first contact." Elara raised an eyebrow. "An invitation? That's certainly a novel approach. Open a channel." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made even the seasoned crew of the Nebula Seeker gasp in awe. The alien before them was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Its body seemed to shimmer and shift, a kaleidoscope of colors swirling beneath the translucent skin. Multiple appendages moved with fluid grace, and a set of large, iridescent eyes blinked curiously at the human crew. "Greetings, travelers," the alien spoke, its voice a melodious trill that seemed to resonate within their minds rather than through their ears. "I am Zix of the Lumina. We have long awaited this moment of first contact with your species." Elara stepped forward, her posture straight and confident. "I am Captain Elara Voss of the Earth Alliance starship Nebula Seeker. We come in peace and with open minds. Your method of contact is unexpected, but welcome." Zix's body rippled with what seemed to be excitement. "Your reputation precedes you, humans. We have observed your kind from afar, marveling at your adaptability and innovative spirit. It is these qualities that have drawn us to you." As the conversation continued, the crew of the Nebula Seeker learned that the Lumina were a highly advanced race of energy beings. They had evolved beyond the need for physical bodies, existing as pure consciousness capable of inhabiting temporary forms for interaction with other species. "Captain Voss," Zix said, its voice filled with what could only be described as childlike wonder, "we have so many questions about your kind. Your physical forms fascinate us. The way you interact, the bonds you form, they are so different from our own experiences." Elara smiled, feeling a sense of pride in representing humanity. "We would be honored to share our knowledge and culture with you, Zix. Perhaps we could arrange for a cultural exchange. Our ship has facilities to accommodate guests, even those as unique as yourself." Zix's form seemed to pulse with excitement. "Oh yes, we would be most grateful for such an opportunity. There is so much we wish to learn, especially about your social structures and what you call emotions." As arrangements were made for Zix to come aboard the Nebula Seeker, Elara couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and apprehension. This was what they had trained for, first contact with an alien species. But the Lumina was so far beyond anything they had imagined. How would the crew handle such an otherworldly presence among them? Lieutenant Riker approached Elara, his voice low. "Captain, are you sure about this? We know nothing about their true intentions." Elara turned to her young officer, a determined gleam in her eye. "This is why we're out here, Riker. To meet new civilizations, to learn and grow. Yes, there are risks, but the potential benefits far outweigh them. Besides," she added with a smirk, "I have a feeling our guest is going to keep us on our toes." As Zix's shimmering form materialized in the Nebula Seeker's transporter room, Elara took a deep breath. This was the moment that would go down in human history, the beginning of a relationship that could change the course of both their species forever. Little did they know, Zix's innocent curiosity about human nature would soon lead them all into uncharted territory, challenging their perceptions and pushing the boundaries of interspecies understanding in ways none of them could have anticipated. As Zix settled into life aboard the Nebula Seeker, the crew found themselves both fascinated and challenged by their alien guest. The luminous ethereal form glided effortlessly through the ship's corridors, leaving a trail of shimmering light in its wake. Crew members couldn't help but stare in wonder, their curiosity matched only by Zix's insatiable thirst for knowledge about human culture. Captain Elara Voss had assigned Lieutenant Jake Riker as Zix's primary liaison, a task the young officer approached with a mix of excitement and trepidation. On this particular day, Riker found himself in the ship's recreational area, attempting to explain the concept of sports to the inquisitive alien. "So, you willingly engage in physical exertion and risk injury, for fun?" Zix's form rippled with confusion. Riker chuckled, tossing a basketball between his hands. "It's not just about the physical aspect, Zix. Sports teach us teamwork, strategy, and how to handle both victory and defeat. Plus, it's a great way to bond with others." Zix's eyes, swirling pools of iridescent color, seemed to widen. "Bond? This word, you use it often. What exactly does it mean to bond with another being?" The question gave Riker pause. How could he explain something so fundamental to human experience to a being that existed as pure energy? "Well," he began, searching for the right words, "bonding is about forming connections with others. It's emotional, sometimes physical. It's what drives us to seek out companionship, to form families and friendships." As Zix absorbed this information, its form pulsed with a soft, warm light. Fascinating. In our existence as energy, we share thoughts and experiences freely, but this concept of emotional bonding is new to us. Can you show me more examples? Over the next few days, Riker and other crew members took turns introducing Zix to various aspects of human relationships. They showed holovids of families celebrating together, friends supporting each other through hardships, and even romantic couples sharing tender moments. Zix was particularly intrigued by the concept of physical touch. During a quiet moment in the ship's arboretum, surrounded by plants from various Earth ecosystems, Zix turned to Riker. "Lieutenant, I've observed that humans often express their bonds through physical contact. Why is this?" Riker smiled, reaching out to touch the soft petal of a nearby flower. "Touch it's a way of connecting, of showing care and affection. It can comfort, excite, or reassure. For many of us, it's a vital part of how we experience the world and each other." Zix's form shimmered thoughtfully. "I see. And this touch, it plays a role in your reproductive process as well, does it not?" The question caught Riker off guard, and he felt a flush creep up his neck. Yes, it does. But that's a bit more complicated to explain." Before Riker could change the subject, the ship's intercom crackled to life. "Lieutenant Riker and Zix, please report to the bridge immediately," Captain Voss's voice commanded, tension evident in her tone. As they made their way to the bridge, Riker couldn't help but feel a sense of relief at the interruption. However, the scene that greeted them upon arrival quickly pushed all thoughts of awkward conversations from his mind. Captain Voss stood at the center of the bridge, her posture rigid as she stared at the main view screen. On it, a massive energy storm roiled and churned, its chaotic patterns unlike anything Riker had ever seen. "What is it, Captain?" Riker asked, moving to his station. Voss turned, her expression grim. "We've detected a rapidly expanding energy anomaly directly in our path. It's unlike anything in our databases." Zix drifted forward, its form pulsing with an intensity the crew hadn't seen before. By the cosmic flows, it whispered, the alien's usual melodic tones replaced by something akin to awe and fear. "It's a void tempest. We've only encountered them in ancient legends." As the crew of the Nebula Seeker faced this unexpected threat, the bonds they had been discussing were about to be put to the ultimate test. Human ingenuity and the mysterious knowledge of the Lumina would need to combine if they hoped to survive the oncoming storm. And in the crucible of this cosmic challenge, Zix would learn firsthand the true strength of human relationships. As the void tempest loomed before them, Captain Elara Voss's voice cut through the tension on the bridge. "Zix, what can you tell us about this phenomenon?" The luminous form flickered anxiously, its usual shimmer darkening to a deep indigo. "The void tempest is a cosmic anomaly that devours energy and matter alike. Our ancestors spoke of entire civilizations lost to its hunger." Lieutenant Riker's fingers flew over his console. Captain, our shields are holding for now, but the energy readings are off the charts. We can't withstand this for long. Voss's mind raced, weighing their options. Can we go to warp? Negative, the ship's air responded. The Tempest's gravitational pull is too strong. We're trapped. As the crew scrambled to find a solution, Zix drifted closer to Riker. Lieutenant, I may have an idea, but it requires further understanding of your species. Riker raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Your reproductive process, Zix said, its voice taking on an urgent tone. The energy created when humans bond physically, it's unlike anything in the universe. If we could harness it, amplify it, we might be able to create a counter-resonance to the void tempest. The bridge fell silent, all eyes turning to the shimmering alien. Captain Voss was the first to speak. Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting, Zix? The luminous form pulsed with determination. Captain, I've observed the power of human connection. The energy you create in moments of intimacy, it's not just biological, it's cosmic. If we could channel that energy through the ship's systems, we might stand a chance. Riker felt his face flush. But how would that even work? And who would? Captain Voss straightened her uniform, her expression a mix of disbelief and resignation. I never thought I'd give an order like this, but desperate times call for desperate measures. We need volunteers. 2 crew members willing to engage in intimate activities while we attempt to channel the energy. The bridge erupted in a flurry of awkward glances and nervous coughs. After a moment of tense silence, Dr. Aria Chen, the ship's chief medical officer, stepped forward. I'll volunteer, Captain. As CMO, I'm familiar with the biological processes involved. Voss nodded gratefully. Thank you, Doctor. Now we need... I'll do it, Lieutenant Riker interrupted, surprising even himself. I've been working closely with Zix. I understand the importance of this experiment. As the reality of the situation sank in, Zix's form brightened with excitement. Excellent. Now, we must prepare quickly. The energy must be pure, born of genuine connection. Lieutenant Riker, Dr. Chen, you must open yourselves to each other completely. While the engineering team worked frantically to modify the ship's systems according to Zix's instructions, Riker and Dr. Chen found themselves in the medical bay, preparing for the most unusual mission of their careers. I never thought I'd be saving the ship like this, Chen said with a nervous laugh, adjusting the sensors attached to her temples. Riker nodded, his own heart racing. Yeah, this isn't exactly what I signed up for when I joined Starfleet. As they lay down on the specially prepared biobeds, Zix hovered nearby, its form a swirl of anticipation. Remember, it's not just about the physical act. You must connect emotionally, open your minds and hearts to each other. The energy we need comes from the bond you create. With a deep breath, Riker turned to Chen. Their eyes met, and in that moment, something shifted. The awkwardness faded, replaced by a deep sense of trust and shared purpose. As Riker and Chen began to connect, both physically and emotionally, Zix monitored the energy readings with growing excitement. On the bridge, Captain Voss watched as the ship's power levels began to fluctuate. It's working. Zix's voice echoed through the comm system. The energy they're creating, it's incredible. The Nebula Seeker hummed with power, its shields brightening against the onslaught of the void tempest. As Riker and Chen's connection deepened, waves of energy pulsed through the ship's systems. In the medical bay, lost in the intensity of their bond, Riker and Chen were unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around them. Their shared experience, born of necessity but blossoming into something profound, was rewriting the very laws of physics. As the ship's systems channeled this uniquely human energy, the void tempest began to react. Its chaotic patterns faltered, then started to dissipate. The bridge crew watched in awe as the destructive anomaly slowly unraveled before their eyes. In that moment, humanity's capacity for connection had quite literally saved them from cosmic destruction. And for Zix, witnessing the power of human intimacy firsthand, it was a revelation that would forever change the Lumina's understanding of the universe. As the void tempest dissipated, the Nebula Seeker emerged victorious, but the aftermath of their unorthodox solution brought unexpected complications. In the medical bay, Dr. Aria Chen stared at her medical tricorder in disbelief, her hands shaking slightly as she processed the information on the screen. This can't be right, she muttered, running the scan again. Lieutenant Riker, still adjusting his uniform, looked at her with concern. What is it, Aria? Is everything okay? Dr. Chen took a deep breath, her professional demeanor slipping for a moment. Jake, hi, I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Riker's eyes widened in shock. But how? We used all the standard precautions, didn't we? Before Chen could respond, Zix's shimmering form appeared in the medical bay, pulsing with excitement. Extraordinary. The energy created by your union was so powerful it accelerated biological processes. This is unprecedented. Captain Voss's voice came through the comm system. Dr. Chen, Lieutenant Riker, report to my ready room immediately. And bring our enthusiastic alien guest with you. As the trio made their way through the ship's corridors, the gravity of the situation began to sink in. This wasn't just an unexpected pregnancy. It was a potential diplomatic incident, a medical mystery, and a personal crisis all rolled into one. In the captain's ready room, Voss paced back and forth, her usual composure visibly strained. Let me get this straight, she said, pinching the bridge of her nose. Not only did we use an untested, intimate method to save the ship, but now we have an accelerated pregnancy on our hands. Dr. Chen nodded, her voice steady despite the turmoil she felt inside. Yes, Captain. Based on my scans, the fetus is developing at an alarming rate. At this pace, I could give birth within a week. Riker stood at attention, his face a mask of determination hiding his inner conflict. Captain, I take full responsibility for. Save it, Lieutenant, Voss interrupted. You both volunteered for a mission that saved this ship and its crew, but now we need to deal with the consequences. She turned to Zix, her eyes narrowing. I don't suppose your people have any experience with accelerated human pregnancies. Zix's form dimmed slightly, a sign the crew had come to recognize as embarrassment. I'm afraid not, Captain. This is as new to us as it is to you. But perhaps this is an opportunity. An opportunity? Riker asked, incredulity creeping into his voice. Zix brightened again. Yes, think about it. This child will be the firstborn of a union that harnessed cosmic energies. It could represent a new chapter in human evolution, a bridge between our species. The room fell silent as the implications of Zix's words sank in. Dr. Chen was the first to speak, her hand unconsciously moving to her abdomen. Whatever this child is or represents, it's still ours, Jake and mine. We need to think about what's best for it. Riker moved to Chen's side, taking her hand in a gesture of support that felt both foreign and completely natural. Aria's right. Cosmic bridge or not, this is our child. We'll face whatever comes together. Captain Voss watched the pair, a mix of pride and concern in her eyes. All right, here's what we're going to do. Dr. Chen, you're relieved of duty until we can fully assess your condition. Lieutenant Riker, you'll split your time between your regular duties and assisting Dr. Chen. Zix, I want you working with our science team to understand exactly what happened and what we can expect. As the group dispersed, each lost in their own thoughts, the Nebula Seeker continued its journey through space. But now, in addition to its mission of exploration, it carried within it a new life, one that represented both the incredible potential and the unforeseen consequences of bridging the gap between species. In the following days, the crew rallied around Chen and Riker. The ship's fabricators worked overtime to create adaptive maternity wear for Chen's rapidly changing body. The science team, guided by Zix's insights, developed new scanning techniques to monitor the unprecedented pregnancy. Riker found himself torn between his duties on the bridge and his growing concern for Chen and their unborn child. Late one night, as he sat with Chen in her quarters, watching in awe as her belly visibly grew, he voiced the fear that had been gnawing at him. What if we're not ready for this, Area? Everything's happening so fast. Chen took his hand, placing it on her swollen abdomen. As if on cue, they felt a strong kick. Ready or not, Jake, this is happening. Our child is a miracle, born for an act that saved an entire ship. Whatever challenges come, we'll face them together. As the Nebula Seeker raced against time to prepare for the birth of this extraordinary child, the crew's unity was put to the test. But in facing this unexpected crisis, they were forging new bonds and pushing the boundaries of what it meant to be a family, both on a personal level and as a representation of humanity's potential in the vast expanse of space. The days leading up to the impending birth were a whirlwind of activity aboard the Nebula Seeker. The ship's corridors buzzed with a mixture of excitement and apprehension as crew members prepared for an event unprecedented in human space exploration. In the transformed medical bay, now part delivery room and part scientific laboratory, Dr. Area Chen lay on a biobed, her rapidly expanded belly monitored by an array of specialized equipment. Lieutenant Jake Riker stood by her side, his face a mask of concern and wonder. Captain Ilara Voss entered, followed closely by Zix, whose form pulsed with an intensity that reflected the gravity of the moment. "How are we doing, Doctor?" Voss asked, her voice soft but authoritative. Chen managed a weak smile. "As well as can be expected when you're about to give birth to a cosmically enhanced baby after a week-long pregnancy, Captain." Zix drifted closer, its iridescent eyes fixed on Chen's abdomen. "The energy readings are off the charts," it trilled excitedly. "This child, it's unlike anything we've ever encountered." Riker squeezed Chen's hand. "Energy readings or not, that's our baby in there. We need to ensure its safety, and Area's above all else." Voss nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. Dr. Chen, you've prepared a team for this delivery." "Yes, Captain," Chen replied, wincing as another contraction hit. "But given the unique circumstances, I think we could use all the help we can get." She looked meaningfully at Zix. The alien's form brightened in surprise. "Me? But I have no experience with human birthing processes." "No," Chen agreed, "but you understand the energy that created this child better than anyone. We might need that knowledge." As if on cue, the medical bay's instruments began to beep urgently. Chen's body arched in pain, and the lights in the room flickered ominously. "It's starting," the lead nurse announced, her voice tense. What followed was a birth unlike any other in human history. As Chen pushed, guided by her medical training and supported by Riker's unwavering presence, the energy levels in the room began to spike. Equipment sparked and sputtered, and a soft glow emanated from Chen's body. Zix moved closer, its form elongating to create a sort of protective bubble around Chen and the medical team. "The child is generating massive amounts of energy," it explained, its voice strained. "I'm trying to contain it, to shape it." Riker looked panicked. "Is it dangerous? Should we evacuate the ship?" Captain Voss stood firm. "No, we face this together. This child is as much a part of our crew as any of us." With a final tremendous effort from Chen, accompanied by a blinding flash of light, the baby was born. For a moment, silence fell over the medical bay. Then, a strong cry pierced the air, a very human sound that brought tears of relief to everyone present. The nurse carefully wrapped the newborn and placed it in Chen's arms. To everyone's surprise, the baby appeared perfectly normal, 10 fingers, 10 toes, and a tuft of dark hair. But as Chen and Riker gazed at their child in wonder, they noticed its eyes, swirling pools of color, reminiscent of Zix's ethereal form. It's beautiful," Riker whispered, gently touching the baby's cheek. Zix drifted closer, its form shimmering with what could only be described as awe. "This child is a bridge," it said softly. a perfect blend of human physicality and cosmic energy. The possibilities are limitless. Captain Voss stepped forward, her usual stoic demeanor softened by the moment. Congratulations, Dr. Chen, Lieutenant Riker. You've not only given birth to a child, but potentially to a new chapter in human evolution. She turned to address the room at large. This event will undoubtedly raise questions and concerns. Our job now is to protect this child and understand the implications of its unique nature. As the medical team ran their postnatal checks, Riker and Chen couldn't take their eyes off their newborn. Despite the extraordinary circumstances of its conception and birth, in this moment, they were simply new parents, filled with love and hope for their child's future. Zix, observing the intimate family moment, felt a shift in its understanding of human connections. The bond it witnessed was more than biological, more than the cosmic energy it had sought to harness. It was something deeper, something the Lumina had never fully grasped until now. As news of the birth spread throughout the ship, the crew of the Nebula Seeker realized they were on the brink of a new frontier, not just in space exploration, but in the very nature of human potential. The collaboration between humans and the Lumina had produced something unprecedented, and the journey to understand it was only beginning. In the weeks following the extraordinary birth, the Nebula Seeker became a hub of intense scientific study and philosophical debate. The ship's mission of exploration had taken an unexpected turn, focusing inward on the miracle that had occurred within its own walls. Dr. Arya Chen and Lieutenant Jake Riker named their daughter Nova, a fitting moniker for a child born of cosmic energies. As Nova grew at an accelerated but thankfully stabilized rate, her unique nature became increasingly apparent. One morning, as Chen cradled Nova in the ship's arboretum, surrounded by the calming presence of earth plants, Zix approached, its form shimmering with curiosity. "May I observe?" the Lumina asked, a new hesitancy in its usually confident demeanor. Chen nodded, smiling. "Of course, Zix. You're as much a part of Nova's story as we are." As Zix drew near, Nova's eyes, those swirling pools of cosmic energy, fixed on the alien. To everyone's amazement, the baby's form began to shimmer slightly, mirroring Zix's ethereal glow. "Extraordinary," Zix whispered. "She's resonating with my energy signature. I've never encountered a being capable of such attunement." Riker, who had just entered the arboretum, watched the scene with a mixture of pride and concern. "What does this mean for her, Zix? For us?" Before Zix could respond, Captain Voss's voice came over the intercom. "Senior staff and Zix to the conference room immediately. We've received a priority communication from Starfleet Command." In the conference room, the atmosphere was tense. Admiral Kira Yoshida's hologram stood at the center of the table, her expression grave. "Captain Voss, we've reviewed your reports on the unique situation aboard the Nebula Seeker," Yoshida began. "The implications are staggering. We're dispatching a science vessel to rendezvous with you and bring the child back to Earth for further study." A chorus of protests erupted from the assembled crew. Riker stepped forward, his voice firm. "With all due respect, Admiral, Nova is not a science experiment. She's our daughter." Yoshida's expression softened slightly. "I understand your feelings, Lieutenant, but you must see the bigger picture. This child could be the key to unlocking cosmic energies, to advancing human evolution. The potential benefits to humanity are immeasurable." As the debate raged on, Zix drifted to the center of the room, its form pulsing with an intensity that drew all eyes. "If I may, Admiral," the Lumina began, its melodic voice resonating with newfound authority. "In my people's long history, we have seen civilizations rise and fall, often due to their pursuit of power they were not ready to wield. Nova represents not just scientific potential, but a bridge between our kinds. Her development, her education, her very existence should be a collaborative effort between humans and Lumina." Zix turned to Chen and Riker. "This child is a gift, born of crisis and hope. She belongs not in a laboratory, but here, among the stars, learning from both her human family and her Lumina heritage." A hush fell over the room as the weight of Zix's words sank in. Admiral Yoshida's hologram flickered as she considered this perspective. Captain Voss seized the moment. "Admiral, I propose a compromise. Allow the Nebula Seeker to continue its mission with Nova and her parents aboard. We'll establish a joint human Lumina research team to study and guide her development. Regular reports will be sent to Starfleet and the Lumina homeworld. This way, we can ensure Nova's safety and freedom while still learning from her unique nature." After a tense moment, Yoshida nodded slowly. "Very well, Captain. I'll need to discuss this with the Federation Council, but your proposal has merit. For now, continue your mission. We'll be in touch." As the hologram faded, a collective sigh of relief swept through the room. Chen hugged Nova close, tears in her eyes. Riker wrapped his arms around them both, his face a mixture of joy and determination. Zix approached the family, its form glowing warmly. "I owe you an apology," it said softly. "In my excitement to understand your reproductive processes, I failed to fully grasp the depth of the bonds they create. Nova has taught us all, that there is more to existence than energy and biology. There is love, family, and the infinite potential born from genuine connection." Captain Voss looked around at her crew, human and Lumina alike, and felt a swell of pride. "Well," she said, a rare smile gracing her features, "it seems our mission of exploration has taken on new meaning. We're not just charting stars anymore, we're mapping the very future of interspecies cooperation and understanding." As the Nebula Seeker resumed its journey into the unknown, its crew faced the future with renewed purpose. Nova, cradled in the love of her human parents and under the watchful eye of her Lumina guardian, represented hope, not just for humanity or the Lumina, but for the entire galaxy. The ship's logs would forever mark this as the moment when the true potential of cosmic harmony began to unfold, one small, miraculous step at a time.